Hi, it's the mini painting noob here. Today I'm going to be painting my Speedpaint lid caps. So I can tell what the colours are over the white primer that I'm using. So I've had this idea for a while, and then yesterday all of these bead paints showed up. So I did have this data set. I now have the full set. You can see some more in the background there. So to do this, I have taken one of the boards that I stick my minis to paint, and I've put some screws in it, and what I'm going to do is take the lid off each bottle and put it on a screw cap. And I'm not sure whether I'm going to have any issues with it drying down the spout, so I'm going to just stick some blue tack on there so it's still sealed. So I'm just going to continue doing all of these, and yeah, and you'll see me paint them in a few minutes. Here's the first batch of lids all set up on their screws, ready for painting. I'll be able to do all of my paints in 2 batches. And there we have it, 24 bottles of paint with white painted lids now. So next step, we'll run through and paint all the tops.
While painting, I found the consistency of each colour to be quite different. It may have been due to some of these paints being new and never been used before, and so mixing can be quite an effort. I don't have a vortex mixer, so all shaken by hand. They do have the balls to mix them inside the pots, but it just takes a bit of effort to get them mixed properly. The white in particular is quite challenging.
This concludes my lid painting episode. What I ended up doing was just painting half of the lid. I may paint the other half with a different undercoat at a later stage. For example, plasmatic bolt, I might think it looks really cool on a metallic, so I might lay down some silver just to remember what that looks like. So just going through the colours that we have in the range, we've got our sets of greens. I've stuck plasmatic bolt in the green. It doesn't feel like it fits in the blue. It's closer to this orc skin than to any of the other blues that are in the range. There are no light blues. So yeah, we've got the greens, plasmatic bolt, orc skin, absolution green, camo cloak. I think mixing these two might be nice just to bring that orc skin down a shade. Then we've got the yellows through to red. So there's the malignant green, which is sort of a really light greeny yellow. Zealot yellow is a lot more orange. So again, mixing these two might give us a nice shade of yellow. Sand golem, it's a sort of a brown orange. And then fire giant orange, when you compare them, that fire giant orange is much more red, but then when you put it next to the reds, it's definitely orange. So we've got blood red is, I think, looks more like a pure red, whereas slaughter red has some purple in there, which brings us through to the purples in the range. We've got purple alchemy and hive dweller purple. And you can kind of see that red has got some purple tint in there. So these look really cool. That hive dweller is really dark, but I'm hoping we can tone it down. I want to do some tests and see what happens if you mix in holy white. See what happens there. Otherwise there is the Speedpaint medium, and we know that that tones it down a wee bit. That brings us to the blues. 2 blues that are quite similar, but the magic blue pulls away from those high areas much easier, and you end up with a lighter blue, but very, very dark in the recesses. Whereas the High Lord blue is maintains that depth, that darkness. And then there's Cloudburst Blue, which really is a blue-grey, a very dark blue-grey. Compare that to, say, Gravelord Grey. It's just that dark blue-grey, all grim black. That's a, yeah, it's Cloudburst Blue is almost a blue-black. Onto the browns, we have dark wood, nice dark brown, and hardened leather, which I've been really enjoying using on all my leather items. So I'm planning on using dark wood on some tree and wooden branch elements, and that hardened leather is really good for boots and straps and bags. Brings us to Crusader Skin and Pallid Bone, which are the skin tones in the range. Both of them quite light, the lightest colours that we get. You put that next to Holy White, which you would think would be really light. They're all sort of in that same shade. So then in the whites to blacks, we have the Holy White, which I was hoping would be lighter than this, so that I could tone down some of the other colours, but it is very grey. So I'll do some tests and see what that looks like. The Runic Grey is a very light grey. It's a blue, it's a cold grey, like a blue grey. So that looks very nice. And Gravelord Grey I've been using a lot on rocks and stones and bases. A nice dark grey, and Grim Black I'm looking forward to using on my wolves, so it just doesn't pull away from the high points like Gravelord Grey does. It gives that nice black effect. And then in addition to the speed paints, I also topped off my Vallejo range, so I do have a black, which I think it's not black enough for me. It's more like a very dark grey. So I'll see if I can find, if you've got any recommendations for a true black, let me know. I've got Salmon, which I've been painting my pigs, nice pink pig skin. And then onto the metallics, the silver, which lays down really nicely in a single coat, nice and smooth all over. Really enjoying this silver. The gold I do not enjoy at all. It's very patchy, especially on flat surfaces. It pulls away way too easy. It requires 3 coats to get to a point where it looks really nice, like on this Holy Grail chalice, where it's just smooth all over. This was about 3 coats and then a 4th for touch-ups, and that's looking nice all over now. But you can lose some detail with that amount of coats, so I'm not a fan of this gold. So again, if you got any recommendations for gold, let me know. This bronze I really like. It's super thick. It lays on really thick, but you can draw it away and the colour remains. So I've been using it for the likes of this shield outside edges, or this weapon here, which has lots of spikes, and that bronze just looks amazing. So really nice colour. So that is it. The only other colour I own is Vallejo White, and I thought there's not much point painting white over white, so I didn't. And that is it. So catch you in the next video. Don't be a noob.